Episode 11 of No Choice But to Remember It. Please don't think about this anymore. Lotte Maleficent's letter. I don't know how I'm writing this, or if I am, but I still wanted to share. You went to Lesfield Hill Elementary School, so you should remember the rumor. Well, more so, ghost story, and looking back, I think we can both agree that it really sounded like it was made by children. Someone noticed something that seemed off and made up a vague and frankly unrealistic story about it. If you don't remember it, it went a bit like this. And forgive me, there could be more details, but this is the baseline of it. Someone was going on some sort of trip, most likely a camping one, and drove into a ditch. Their car flipped over, and they stayed in the hole until they died. It was something like that, but the story wasn't important, because they had proof, which was most likely not actual proof, but on the side of a playground where we'd have recess, there was a steep dip in the ground. At the bottom, there was a car that was flipped over, looking broken, and a mini fridge that was unplugged and dirty. Grass overgrew that area, and further back was a bunch of trees. No one went down there to my knowledge, but we'd talk about the story a lot. I remember just staring and wishing I could go and check it out. I think that's where it started. I was so interested. Now look at me. I investigate abandoned places. Mostly either for fun, to post on social media, but I also get hired by people to go out and make sure some places are safe to destroy. I have quite the eye for things that could be dangerous or valuable. So that's what I've been doing. I'm definitely better than I was before. I used to carry a small bag with some snacks and only 1 or 2 water bottles. Now I'm more prepared. I bring a small ice box with plenty of water and a little bit of food. I also grab a ton of granola bars and snack foods, but I also grab canned foods and make sure that I can open it with a knife, just in case something happens. I never had anything too bad happen to me. The longest I've gotten lost and had to stay for was 3 days, and I was fine, so I'm pretty prepared. Now, I don't really travel with other people. I only did twice when I was a beginner, but I had a plan. It seemed safe enough to bring another person. I thought it'd be fun to check out that car. Finally, now I'm an adult. And it was school break. But I know that Alexandra Phillip went to that school too, and we were close to friends. I have a vague memory of talking to her about the car when I was young. So I texted her one day, asking if she wanted to come. She answered yes in the next week, I think. She had been very busy at her new job. And it showed when I met up with her. I was driving in my car, I had my icebox and canned food in the back. Her hair was normally really fluffy, red, and long and neat. Now it was a little tangled, and she still dressed the same. Like a witch, basically. But it looked less like she was purposely doing it to look good, and more like those are the only clothes that she had that she could just throw on real quick. She fixed her glasses into place, and had some eye bags. Some job, I remember saying. She laughed it off and didn't bring it up, but she seemed to look everywhere, like she was looking for something that could answer something, anything. She's smart, always had been. I couldn't help but wonder what she didn't know, as she obviously wanted to. We drove to the school and went to the dip. The car and fridge are still there. The dip was much less further down than I remember, but that's probably because I was smaller as a child. It was nothing. We went down, and it was nothing. After a bit of silence, she then turned to me and asked, "What's the answer?" I laughed, but it wasn't funny. I told myself it was a joke. She was always so good in school, I'd always ask her what the answer is, so since this is my field of work, it would make perfect sense for a joke. But she just stared at me. Then she sighed. "See you." And she just simply walked away and left. I left as well. and I couldn't help but think that we didn't actually look inside the broken car. Then I dreamt about her. I can't remember what it was in the dream, but Alexandra was there, a light frown always on her face, but nothing sad ever happened in the dream. But the next time, when I slept, I saw her in the dream, and she was crying. She said something along the lines of, "I'm sorry. I didn't know this would happen. I'm sorry." Then I left in the dream. I left her place and looked at a picture of my old elementary school. I got in my car, and I drove to the school. But on the side of the road stood Alexandra. I looked at her as I drove through the gate, and my car went down a hill and flipped. My mini fridge flew out the back, and I stayed. People still go to that school, and there's a rumor there that someone lived down that hill next to the playground. There was an unplugged dirty mini fridge and a car that was on its side. The rumor went that someone, for some reason, got trapped down there and stayed until they died. What they don't know is that if you look into the car window, you'll find the person sound asleep, unmoving, with no heartbeat, everything but brain dead. The person who will never escape this place, through dreams or death. A person who stayed until they died. The rumors are true.